Welcome to the Pathfinder Legacy Podcast, where we help farmers, ranchers, and business owners create a seamless transition plan for the future. From retirement to ownership transfer, we protect what you've built and guide you every step of the way.
Welcome back to Pathfinder Legacy Podcast. I'm your host, Heidi Olson, and Happy New Year. All right, we're just into 2026, and we've heard all the chatter on New Year's resolutions. How many of us hit the ground running, ready to begin the year with a fresh outlook? I'll get in the office at least once a week, and I'll stay on top of keeping my numbers current. But then what happens? We get busy with our operation, and the bookwork gets put on the back burner. We don't put our operations on the back burner, thinking, heck, I'll get to it tomorrow. No, we get the chores done, and our bookkeeping should be on that same level. And here's why I'm so passionate about this. I can't tell you how many families sit across the table from me and say, we knew we should have stayed on top of this, but we just didn't have time. And I always think the same thing. You made time for calving, planting, harvest, fixing breakdowns at midnight. You made time for what mattered to get your farm work done. Planning matters too. It just doesn't yell as loud as that frozen water tank or a broken combine. So this episode isn't about perfection. It's about intention. It's about doing a little better in 2026 than you did in 2025. So today, I'm giving you the 2026 Farm Legacy Checklist, the 6 things every farm family should review each year to stay on track with succession, finances, and a long-term vision. Let's start 2026 on the right foot. First up, your balance sheet. I'm not talking about last year's or the one you did in 2021. I'm talking about the one that shows how your operation looks today. Why does this matter? You can't plan a transition if you don't know what you have. Where are your numbers? What is your operation worth or how it's financed? And while you're at it, clean up that equipment list. What do you own? What's leased? What needs to be replaced? And who uses what? Here's what I see go wrong when this doesn't get done. One sibling thinks they're buying into the operation. Another sibling thinks, mom and dad already gifted equipment to me years ago. And mom and dad assume everyone just knows how it's set up. You know what they say about assumptions? They're the mother of all evil. An up-to-date balance sheet doesn't just help your accountant, it keeps your family from arguing about things that could have been clarified with one updated list. Second, review titles, deeds, CRP contracts, and cash rent agreements. Now, this is where people get tripped up, where I see the most mistakes in farm succession. A will does not change ownership. If a name is on a deed, they own it, period. That supersedes the will. I don't care what the will says or what you meant or what you promised at Thanksgiving. Ownership follows the deed. Land that is titled incorrectly hinders your entire operation. Is there an ex-spouse still listed? Is one child listed thinking you put them on to help you manage the property, whether it be land, cattle, or maybe a checking account? If you have them listed as a co-owner, remember, they are the owner of that property after you're gone. And if you think your will supersede on that, direct them to give up ownership or share with their siblings, you are wrong. You are setting your estate up for litigation, thinking the owner child, they'll just give a portion of the property they own to their siblings. I have rarely seen this turn into a scene from the Waltons, where everyone says goodnight at the end of the day. Are your beneficiaries outdated? Who is listed in your will when you're gone? Do you have current names listed? Have you updated it after a divorce, or did you get remarried? Who do you consider heirs to your estate? Does it include your children and additionally stepchildren? Do your kids think they own something that they don't? I've been on the other end of that call when I've had to tell kids, this asset is not yours and your dad didn't update the deed after his divorce. Parents think they transferred something they actually didn't, and if the deed was not recorded in the county courthouse, ownership has not been transferred. If you're listening right now and thinking, I'm not 100% sure how that land is titled, that's your sign. Hold the deeds and don't guess. An annual land check keeps everything clean. Third, LLCs, partnerships, and corporations. When was the last time you looked at operating agreements? How are income and expenses handled? Who owns what shares? Is there an officer list? Is it up to date? Are there minutes? Have they been recorded and made available for all officers? Meetings may be verbal, but as we all know, verbal agreements are only good as the paper they are written on. Oh, wait, there is no paper to be recorded and filed where all interested parties can look back to reference what was said and what needs to be done with business operations. Buy-sell terms. Can you sell or transfer shares to the next owner or operator? Is there succession language? What happens to the shares of the majority owner if they die or are incapable of taking care of themselves, leaving business functions the last priority on the list? Entities get messy if no one maintains them, and I mean no one. A farm LLC isn't a crock pot. You can't just set it and forget it. If you do, someone is going to get burned. When entities fall apart, it's rarely because someone did something wrong on purpose. It's because nobody updated the operating agreements and assets as life changed. Kids grow up and become adults working in the business. Partners retire and ownership shares are not transferred to new shareholders. Someone got sick and there wasn't a buyout plan that they could afford, or someone passed away and now the operators are losing operating capital for the business after paying out a surviving spouse. Life happened and the paperwork never caught up. The entity didn't fail. The most important maintenance of the bookkeeping failed. Fourth, life insurance and liability coverage. Ask yourself, are these beneficiaries updated? Do you have primary beneficiaries, and have you specified their percentage to receive if you have more than one listed? That's an important key factor to pay attention to. Maybe you don't want each of them to get a 50-50 share and you have specific rate allocations that you want them to have. If those primary beneficiaries are gone, do you have contingent beneficiaries listed, and have you listed their percentages? Does the coverage still match the needs of the operation? Are there funds available for the operator to continue with the business if you're gone? Are you providing additional life insurance to non-farming children? Remember, fair isn't always equal. Has anything major changed? More land purchased, more debt added, or a new partner? Insurance isn't a one and done conversation. Here's a hard question I ask families. If something happened to you tomorrow, would the operation survive the next 6 months? I'm not asking eventually. I want to know immediately, will the operation survive today? Insurance is about buying time, yes, to grieve, yes, to make decisions, and yes, time to keep the operation running without added stress. Fifth, review family roles. This is probably the hardest one for your families because they have to talk and communicate. This is the heart of succession planning and probably the hardest for families. Why? Because they have to talk about who's doing what, who's taking care of the feed rations or the breeding program, who's creating the cropping plan for 2026. How about the marketing of commodities or livestock? Who wants to do what? Oh, but who is sitting in the passenger seat that has been watching and learning from the driver, ready for a test run, at it in the driver's seat? The passenger that's been diligently learning and watching, and they be ready in 2026 to drive that business. Who shouldn't be doing what anymore? Is the current owner not in good health? But they think, I can keep going just one more year. Then I'll let Johnny have a shot driving the car. If you don't give them the time to learn while you are still here to help guide them, when will you give up those reins and guide them? You could be setting them up for failure if you don't train them or give them the time behind the wheel. Who's stepping into leadership? Who wants to get behind the wheel to drive and take care of the livestock operation? Or maybe it's the farming side they want to be in charge of. If you never designate these leadership roles, changes never happen, leaving you in a parked car that can't ever be driven. Who's stepping out? Is it mom or dad? Maybe a neighbor you're working with. What are their expectations on when they want to retire? What will they help with after retirement? Are they going to help with branding, fix equipment, or chauffeur you to and from fields. These roles need to be discussed and identified to keep your operation thriving into the future. And here's the part that's hard for parents. If you don't ever let the next generation drive while you're still in the passenger seat, they end up learning when you're no longer there to help. That's not fair to them, and it's not fair to your business. And finally, the most important step, schedule your 2026 family meeting today. You're still in January. Don't wait until March. Do it now. Put it on the calendar and set expectations. Your family meeting doesn't need to look like you're inviting the Pope. You just need a basic meeting, starting with 3 things. 1, what's working. 2, what's not working in your operation. And 3, what needs to change in the next 12 months. That's it. 3 things. You don't have to solve everything in one meeting. You just have to start. Pick a spot and get started, and document your meetings. Keep minutes. That's your 2026 Farm Legacy Checklist. Simple, practical, and guaranteed to give your family more clarity this year. And this isn't about New Year's resolutions you forget by February. It's about building those simple habits that support the people and the operation you care about and have worked so hard to build. At the end of the day, good planning doesn't take away your independence. It protects it. If you want help organizing your own family meeting or reviewing your farm structure, that's where I come in. You can find me at pathfinderlegacy.com and book a discovery call. And let's get your 2026 off on the right foot. Until next week, I'll see you between the ditches.
Thanks for listening to the Pathfinder Legacy Podcast, where your future is our focus. Be sure to subscribe, follow us on social media, and visit us at pathfinderlegacy.com to start building your transition plan today.